So they're abusing the dead.
Mm-hmm. That's true. That's true. Not only are they disrespecting the dead, they are supporting those who, still to this day, have gotten away with mass murder. So they should really think twice about using that excuse to dismiss what we have to say.
And these killers are still on the loose as well and planning to stage more events. Make no mistake. But the fact that we've been exposing them kind of takes that false flag tool away. What did you think when New Yorker magazine, Cy Hirsch, and then even Keith Olbermann came out and admitted that Dick Cheney was planning to stage terror attacks on our ships to blame it on Iran with U.S. patrol boats painted up like Iranians, and then they tried to have that staged event with fake radio chatter saying we blow you up in 1 minute, and I said that was staged at the time. Then it came out it was staged, and then it comes out they ordered the torture. I mean, these really are war criminals. These really are bad guys. I mean, this is on record. They've staged so much terror in the past. How can people not understand that it's normal to point the finger at them? Not just because of their history or the evidence, but because of the motive.
Sure, absolutely. I mean, only they stood to gain from all of these atrocities. It's key bono. It's who has benefited. In the case of 9/11, it certainly wasn't the 19 people who supposedly died in carrying out the attack. It certainly hasn't been Osama bin Laden. But arguably Halliburton has certainly benefited. Dick Cheney has certainly benefited. Other military contractors, energy corporations, the list goes on. If you follow the money, it's clear who has benefited. And given the fact that they announced their agenda before the day, and then that agenda has been prosecuted every day since, and they've been invoking 9/11 and its victims as justification for, everything that they've done here and everything that we've been doing abroad. I mean, it's quite clear. I mean, I don't understand where this bottomless well of benefit of the doubt, where this comes from, and when does it finally run out? I mean, a government that lies about air quality and exposes people to toxic dust intentionally in order to reopen Wall Street, a government that legalizes torture, that manufactures legal opinions in order to justify circumventing the Constitution so that they can torture people, a government that illegally wiretaps. And look, on Olbermann, you had Russell Tice go on there about 3 months ago and tell Olbermann to his face that the NSA was specifically collecting information on intellectuals and journalists. And you see Olbermann's face go white there for a second.
And Congress.
I mean, what more? I mean, with all of these damning, realities, where is I don't understand when is the wall of cognitive dissonance finally going to break and people just accept the fact, or at least entertain the very serious possibility and look at the evidence of 9/11 being an inside job and all these other things that you're talking about. I mean, and in this day and time, there's just so much going on, Alex. My head swirls. I sometimes for a couple weeks, I literally just have to totally tune out because I feel like it's just too much. I can't, continue with my day. I can't continue just living life normally because I'm so caught up in all these tectonic events that seem to just come one right after the other. It's the economy. It's pipe bombs being detonated in New Jersey. It's, the massacre at the Jewish Museum, or this unfortunate shooting of the security guard at the Jewish Museum. Glenn Beck shooting his mouth off and trying to make these links between 9/11 truth and this psycho who committed this crazy act the other day. I mean, it's just so much, and it's endless. It's just endless.
And it's always right on time. This Brune guy, Von Brune, was in federal custody for 6 years, and it has classic Southern Poverty Law Center fingerprints, not exactly ADL. I mean, it was Southern Poverty Law Center and declassified FBI documents running the Elohim City white supremacist compound that McVeigh came out of. And it's the same with all these, quote, black Muslim groups that turn out to be black Christian street kids who they pay money to just dress in camo, and they give them a warehouse. And then even mainstream news has to admit time and time again that it's totally made up.
Wow.
Or fake Klan groups in Dallas. I mean, led by the FBI, they're going to blow things up. And right on time as the Federal Reserve is about to be audited, that is so exciting. But we've got to know that the elite are going to come after those of us that are fighting them, but we don't have a choice. But I sense in my gut, Daniel Sunjata, because of your courage and millions of other people's courage, that the momentum is shifting. We're not winning yet, but we're beginning to gain on them, and the arrogance is draining out of these corrupt people.
Well, I'm sure you've seen, I know you've seen, as a matter of fact, you responded to it already thoroughly. when Glenn, in that clip with Glenn Beck and that, I guess, that CIA veteran, I don't know who the other, do you know who the quote-unquote expert was that he was talking to?
Yeah, it was all a bunch of spooks and think tank. It was all intelligence operatives.
Okay. Well, you know, it just smelled of desperation. I hear the music, so we'll come back.
Exactly. No, you're right. I mean, they were just, and then you look at the CIA guy. Beck's such an egomaniac with narcissism that he was enjoying it, but the other spooks were, yeah, the American people of Al Qaeda, yeah. I mean, they just looked like they can be blown over by, by a 5-year-old. I mean, it was just unbelievable. I agree with you. Stay there. Daniel Sunjata is our guest. Final segment straight ahead. Daniel, the time we have left, you were saying, and I jumped in and started seconding you. You were saying that it seemed like desperation. Exactly. It was like insecure and panicked, and they knew they were doing something dirty, trying to say that this guy was a hero of 9/11 truth, but with no source.
Yeah, exactly. I guess that's the only other point I wanted to make is based on what? Because he gives this brief caveat. He's like, that's what the evidence points to now. It's early. We can't confirm this. Just like with the FEMA camps, he can neither confirm nor deny at the end of the day. But with this particular thing, you would think if he's going to open his mouth and say something like that and link a notoriously nonviolent movement like 9/11 Truth with something as despicable as what happened at that museum that day, then you better have a source. You better have a reason for saying something like that. And I just hope that everybody listening to the show will just assault Glenn Beck's email and telephone nonstop until he issues some type of an apology. Because just like with the Geraldo Rivera thing, trying to link us to the bombing in Times Square, I mean, this is just, it just smacks of such desperation. It's so pathetic, and it's just so, you could even tell in their body language that they knew that they were lying. Glenn is just, he's a despicable character. I hate to speak badly of anyone, but that was...
Well, going back to the tape, which we play, but YouTube's down, he does 3 provisos that, well, it's an early report, and it's not really confirmed, so we don't know if it's true, but then he says, new sentence, this guy was a hero to 9/11 Truth. I mean, 9/11 Truth is very diverse, obviously, but I would call it more classical, liberal, progressive overall than I would call it conservative. But I mean, it's every stripe, but it decries racism and things like that.
Sure. I mean, who from the 9/11 Truth community has been advocating or calling for violence? No one. As a matter of fact, we want to avoid it at all costs. It's not us who's perpetrating the violence. We're trying to expose those who have committed violent acts because we don't want to see that. We don't want bloodshed. We decry that. So,
well, take We Are Change. Take We Are Change. They're all about Gandhi, be the change you want to see in the world, nonviolent. And they keep saying they're going to be violent, they're going to be violent, and then it starts materializing. They're manufacturing it one way or another. It's not true. There's the essay on screen, Daniel Sunjata, Intellectual Dishonesty in the Age of Universal Deceit, 911blogger.com. In the last 3 minutes, you've got the floor. Take us out, Daniel Sunjata. I guess a message to keep 9/11 Truth exploding, or they'll stage more terror?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a very likely possibility. I mean, most of everybody listening right now knows for a fact that something is wrong with what we've been told about 9/11. We need a new reinvestigation. That's clear. There's been a lot of progress that's been made on many fronts. All kinds. Alex has made movie upon movie upon movie. The Core of Corruption series has been very eye-opening and enlightening. The Fabled Enemies, Jason Bermas's film, really great job on that. I mean, on so many fronts, we're making progress, and I think that we just have to continue to storm the castle. We can't get complacent. It's palpable right now. I think in the air. I think people can feel that there's something on the horizon, and I think that people might be a little bit scared, not knowing is it going to be something positive, is it going to be something negative. I think we can certainly make it something positive. I think humanity stands at the threshold of a real opportunity for a quantum transformation. Not just, and I don't mean to get all metaphysical and spiritual, but I think
it's a tipping point. We're going into evil or we're going into good. We've got to make a choice.
We really do have to make a choice, and the battle lines are. I mean, it's clear. It's clear. You're, as you say all the time, you're either on the side of humanity, free humanity, or you're on the side of the globalists at this point. And being neutral is really not an option. Neutrality equals, I don't know what
consent.
Consent, yeah, to consent to what we know in our guts is evil and is wrong. So we really can't afford to be on the sidelines right now. We have to be in the game. That's the reason why I tried my neophyte hand at just generating an article about how.
Oh, it's excellent. I hope you do more. Wow, go ahead.
Thank you, Alex. but just the way that the media unfairly addresses the issue of 9/11, when they even address it at all. It's either the way, it's the style of Glenn Beck or Joe Scarborough or Bill O'Reilly, or it's total blackout. And it's really a shame. I don't know how many more articles Alan Miller has to publish about 41 intelligence experts and people from inside the intelligence community saying 9/11 was an inside job, or people from the inside other branches of the government.
Pilots for 9/11 Truth, 700 engineers.
It's ridiculous at this point. I mean, we clearly have a critical mass of experts from relevant fields of expertise. Now all we need is the platform where they can speak what they know, and people like me can get out of the way. We're just, just let them have the floor.
Daniel Sunjata, let me say bye to you during this break. We'll have you back soon. God bless you. And listen, we salute your courage.
I salute you guys as well. God bless.